The Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge has rebuked the Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar over his comment on the Shakti Scheme that has been launched in Karnataka ever since the Congress came to power after winning the election. The scheme was part of Congress's 5 guarantees in Karnataka. Mallikarjun Kharge said that he has made promises in Maharashtra on the basis of the 5 guarantees in Karnataka and slammed D.K. Shivakumar for giving BJP a chance to come at them. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, who was part of this press conference, had to clarify that no scheme will be rolled back. Mallikarjun Kharge has claimed that he has warned the Maharashtra unit against making guarantees that cannot be implemented and bring the state towards bankruptcy. BJP has used this entire comment to corner the Congress, calling its promises in Maharashtra and Jharkhand as mere lies. D.K. Shivakumar has now clarified that his words were twisted and that the Shakti Scheme is not going to be rolled back. Let's start our conversation on the telecast with me. Let's hear it from Sujata Paul. She is the Congress spokesperson. Sujata, what's happening? Why is there so much chaos and confusion? You have the party high command, you have the president of the International Congress who's rebuking D.K. Shivakumar, pulling up Siddaramaiah and asking the Maharashtra unit of Congress not to promise things, not to promise of these big schemes, then which cannot be fulfilled.
First of all, nobody is rebuking anybody. In the Congress party, we always discuss, debate, and then we come to some decision. And if there is something which affects the people of a particular state, our Congress president will definitely point to it, because if promises have been made, they have to be delivered upon. However, it is very, very clear that the state of the country today is such that the state governments that we are inheriting from the BJP governments are facing problems because they brought the states to such a situation. If you look at the country itself, look at the kind of debt that the country has on itself. So the future generations have to be thought about, so that they don't have.
So there's a cautionary note, the caution at this point in time that has been raised by Mallikarjun Kharge. You think there may have been schemes that had been launched by the Congress, particularly in Karnataka after you won the election, may have been you may just have overstretched yourself in a bid to win the election, and now at this point of time you are at the verge of bankruptcy.
Not at all. When we come up with any scheme, we make sure that we have done enough research and we study whatever material is there. But you know very well that this government does not give us data, so the fiscal health of a particular state is not entirely known to us till the time that we come to power and we start governing. So there is that deficit certainly. And secondly, if you look at the Maharashtra government today, what had happened? From Gujarat to Guwahati to Goa, how much of money was spent? So what the condition of the Maharashtra government is, we are very, very clear on that.
Okay, but I'll just read that statement verbatim of what Mallikarjun Kharge has said. He has put this question out to D.K. Shivakumar. He said that you promised 5 guarantees in Karnataka, and then the Congress High Command made the promise of 5 guarantees in Maharashtra. And today you mentioned that you would cancel one of those guarantees, which is the Shakti Scheme. It seems like you don't read the newspapers, but I do. So I'm telling you this. This was Congress President referring to Shivakumar's remarks, saying that they would have to revisit the Shakti Scheme.
Completely out of context. And the Shakti Scheme still stays. And when we talk about any particular scheme, it cannot be unplanned. It cannot be unbalanced. So any kind of disbalance in the promises that we make can affect our reputation also. So we have to be careful about our reputation also.
Right, absolutely. And that's exactly what Mallikarjun Kharge is saying, that if he has to pull up one of his politicians, one of his team leaders, if it is in Karnataka and if it is D.K. Shivakumar, then so be it. Joining me also on the telecast is Mukesh Tyagi. Let's hear it from you, Mukesh, about the situation over here. Sujata Paul saying that the debt that the government of India is at this point of time under is something that needs to be considered. There has been money that has been spent. There have been promises that have been made. But can the exchequer actually bear the burden of these promises?
I think there is a saying that billi 100 चूहे खाकर के बिल्ली हज को चली. I mean, they are taking so long to realize what kind of khatakat Rahul Gandhi's very benevolent, philanthropic distribution of freebies just for the purpose of winning the election, because perhaps they were not confident they'll win the election. Now they win the election, so now it is inevitable for them to meet the revenue expenditure. And revenue expenditure, for example, in Himachal Pradesh, they won the election primarily and predominantly because of they shift. They said we will shift from new pension scheme to old pension scheme. The more the number of retirees, the burden is going to increase. What is the current status in Himachal Pradesh? They have failed to pay 2 months' salary to their employees and
Wow.
pension. And so, I mean, this is the situation. The chief minister is suggesting that we will cut the salaries for the cabinet ministers, chief secretaries. So why this situation is, I think it should be depoliticized as a matter of fact. If you don't have the capacity to fulfill your promise, then you should not be committing to it. It is a daylight robbery because you are creating an additional burden on per capita. You know, one person is almost carrying a debt of 1,01,000 rupees on their head because state government is on the verge of bankruptcy. We have seen example how the Sri Lanka went through the bankruptcy because of the freebies distribution. No budgetary provision. They don't have any idea what kind of earnings they will have. They are just for the heck of winning the election. I think Mallikarjun Kharge, I mean, he spoke directly with the that we should stop doing all these things, and DK Shivakumar has the audacity to challenge Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge. So they are washing the dirty linen in public. There is
Okay.
a conflict of opinion here. So I think instead of making an offensive statement, they should come and accept and offer the apology to the people. Yes, we have gone wrong in our calculations. We will not be able to meet these guarantees which Rahul Gandhi has khatakhat given to the people, and now it's getting boomerang. So it is
Okay.
a situation of
Okay.
Karnataka, it's a situation of Himachal
Okay,
Pradesh.
Nikhil Jain, how do you view what has happened, transpired today? You know, Mallikarjun Kharge calling out DK Shivakumar in public, saying you make promises that you can keep.
Kumar. When I saw the statement by the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, I did not see him calling out the Congress Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivakumar or anybody else for that matter. He was making he was making a remark of important caution that applies to the Karnataka Congress government, that applies to the Maharashtra BJP government, and that applies to every single government in this country, whether it's a state government or the central government, that growingly we are seeing a trend across the country in state governments as well as the union government, wherein social welfare schemes or freebies or revenues, whatever name you may call them with, are being rolled out one after the other without looking at whether they are fiscally possible, feasible or not. The latest example before you is in Maharashtra by the Mahayuti government or the BJP-led government by Eknath Shinde, wherein they have announced this Ladki Behna scheme, the budget outlay of which is 46,000 crores. In the past 30 days, or I think 40 days, the Shinde government in Maharashtra has announced schemes with a budget outlay of over a lakh crore rupees. And Ajit Pawar is rumored to have been at strong discontent with Eknath Shinde as well as the BJP in announcing these schemes. But because the elections were around the corner, he went ahead and did it anyway. And I think this is going to reap disastrously, because you see, this is a question I think that transcends political lines, because be it the BJP or the Congress,
Yeah,
every single
yeah,
political
yeah.
party in the
Okay.
country is announcing schemes. I hope the Congress is more fiscally responsible with the schemes that they've announced and they are going to announce, which is what President Kharge of the Congress party is cautioning against. But there is nobody in the BJP that is giving out this caution. The Prime Minister mocks these social welfare schemes as revenues and this and that. But then again, his party goes around and deposits 1,500 rupees as an unconditional transfer. When the UPA government did a Manrega, which was essentially a cash transfer scheme to the poor, but
No,
it was
I mean, if
conditional on them coming
it's
and
not
working
like I
under the
said, it's not
scheme.
as
Now
if
you have these unconditional transfers.
it's not as if the other political parties are not doing so. Congress has done that as well. BJP uses the same strategy. It's not new in Indian politics. In fact, it's not new in any politics universally. Sumit on the telecast also with me. Sumit, how do we figure out a solution to this when the political parties go about making tall promises and are unable to keep those promises, and that leads to a strain on the exchequer, and then it is at the end of the day the taxpayer who suffers?
Meghaji, thank you for having me on your show. Couple of points here. First of all, let's look factually. For a change, I agree with Mallikarjun Kharge ji. He is right when he says you should only do what you can spend. You should not go and cross the limits. That point is fairly taken, and he is advising to everybody, including the Congress governments. Yes, there was a spat between him and Mr. D.K. Shivakumar. We can hide it, but we cannot deny it. Second thing is, look at a state like Himachal. I'll give you an example. If you go to OPS, your 82% of the total revenue of the state goes to OPS. Then when Mukesh Bhai was saying there's no money to pay for salaries, there's no money to pay for chief secretaries, there's no money for everything. That is what Kharge ji said you can do it, you will not build a road, you will not build a hospital, and then you have to be in exile for 10 years. Because people will ask you, Bhai, kya hua? You have not done any development. And then Prime Minister Modi says today, he says, look, you have to be aware of this Congress culture of wherein they are doing this fake promise culture wherein they are trying to lure the people with fake promises which are not sustainable, and the people ultimately suffer. Now, answering the question which Nitin Bhai said, by 1 lakh crore was rolled out. 1 lakh crore, Nitin Bhai, is approximately around $1 billion, right? It's around $1 billion, right? $10 billion. Now, look at the Himachal and Maharashtra. Maharashtra has a GDP of $510 billion. So $9-10 billion possibly you can roll out. Look at Himachal. The total GDP is $26 billion. Can you roll out $20 billion in OPS? I ask you the question. What is the percentage of the budget you are rolling? OPS is 82%, which is unsustainable. That is exactly what Kharge ji is mentioning and clearly talking about. Now they tried to go with the same model in Haryana. It did not work. Kejriwal ji tried to go with the same model across the India, free bijli, free money. It did not work. So
but it surely is working in Delhi.
If there's a caution, Meghaji, that you have to be very cautious, do what your budget sustains. If you have a budget of $510 billion,
okay,
maybe you can $10 billion. In $26 billion, you cannot afford $10 billion. It's very clear. Mathematics, Haji. Where is the dispute in this? That's what the Kharge ji says.
Okay, all right. Sujata, would you like to comment on what Sumit and Mukesh have said, particularly about how BJP, Congress continues to overstretch itself, make these promises when you cannot fulfill them?
Not at all. Like I said, what we inherit from the BJP government, we have to work around that. And secondly, nobody is mentioning Telangana. Why? There are a whole lot of schemes which come under the so-called free schemes, like the Cheyuta scheme, the Mahalakshmi scheme. There are a whole lot of schemes. The crop waiver scheme has been implemented. The free bijli has been implemented. The water one is implemented. There are a whole lot of free bus rides that the women are enjoying. Do you have anything against that? Well, if a government's fiscal health is fine, I think they can think about implementing schemes. And for that, when we are going into election mode, we have to prepare ourselves for being able to implement our schemes. So what is wrong with that? And as far as Himachal Pradesh is concerned, the BJP should answer, why is it that the BJP was not able to give us a better state? The fiscal health is destroyed because of their free schemes. When they gave free ration,
I don't know. This is, isn't it the cat calling the kettle calling the pot black?
Just before
I mean, this is just going to be cyclical. The BJP is going to blame Congress. Congress is going to blame BJP. Now, if BJP were to come to power in Delhi, they'll say because of the freebies that had been distributed by Aam Aadmi Party, now we have to at this point in time first manage, and all the debt that Delhi at this point in time is under, the government of Delhi is out and under. We have to figure that out. We have to pull ourselves out of it. And then if in Karnataka as well, it is BJP and Congress and BJP and Congress and JDS in between. Again, the same tussle continues. So Mukesh, the issue remains that it is at the end of the day the common man who's suffering. You are playing politics at the cost of the exchequer, at the cost which is filled by the taxpayers' money.
You see, Sujata ji has been extremely critical about BJP and all. I mean, they don't have any calculation or mathematics in front of them. As Mr. Pirzada rightly pointed out, it is called the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. So what kind of budgetary allocation you have, what kind of capital and revenue expenditure you have, this calculation, maybe you have inherited, let us assume, the bad economy from BJP in Himachal or in Karnataka, whatever you are saying. So you have the numbers in front of you. We were also tempted to switch over to old pension scheme in Himachal Pradesh, but we did not allow it to happen at the cost of losing election. So that kind of formidable determination you need to have. You can't just like Niyai with 72,000 rupees, where Rahul Gandhi had promised to give Khatta cut 6,000 rupees. When they come out with the calculation, they were not able to defend. How will they give this kind of money? So, making a statement hollow, either you are not optimistic about winning the election, so you are playing with the people of this country. You are trying to introduce a new system of competition so that other people try to drain out the budgetary policies for the country, but you have no solid basis to speak on, and you keep on making promises. You are in a competition rat race, and eventually what happens is you fall flat on your face, and then people of Karnataka and Himachal Pradesh, you have to answer them that why you have mortgaged their interest, you have burdened these people. The future generation is going to pay for all your irresponsible fiscal mismanagement, and you have no idea, and you are defending it.
Can I come in for a few seconds?
Yeah, 30 seconds, Sujata. Yes, I have to get other panelists also.
400 रुपए का सिलेंडर इतना महंगा है, इतनी महंगाई है, पेट्रोल डीजल इतना महंगा है, हम आएंगे तो कम कर देंगे. What was that about? And this is before 2014.
Like I said, Sujata, this is politics. This is politics that is done by all political parties. I'm not going to point it out to BJP or Congress or Aam Aadmi Party or JMM or Shiv Sena, whosoever. You all do it, and let's accept this. Nikhil, how can this be curtailed? This is an issue. This is an issue in public interest. Can there be demarcations? Can there be boundaries drawn for political parties to then abstaining from making such promises? And if they come to power, then drying up the exchequer.
Megha, is that to me?
Yeah.
Can you please repeat? There was some.
I'm saying, can there be guidelines? I don't know. Can there be guidelines that can be drawn by the election commission? Authorities that can take control of the situation and say that I don't know. Is somebody actually making the calculation? Somebody finding what the debt of a particular state is, and if such promises were to be fulfilled, and if this particular government were to come to power, if this political party were to be at the helm of affairs, how will they be able to manage it? This is all calculable.
So, Megha, interestingly, this was part of my dissertation topic for my master's in law, that the election commission should have a mechanism wherein it checks whether the promises that are being made by political parties are even feasible or not. Tomorrow, some politician might come and say, I will bring down the moon to you, I'm going to take you to the sun, I'm going to offer you a trip to Mars. There is literally no stopping. Like, the kind of promises that we're hearing from politicians across the board is just laughable and ridiculous, but all at the expense of either the exchequer or essentially fooling the voters, because either you're going to fulfill these promises and bankrupt the state, or you are not going to fulfill these promises, in which case your entire vote that you've gotten from the people is on the basis of fraudulent promises that you never intended to keep. And I think the election commission should keep a strong check on that. The Supreme Court also took up the matter when the Prime Minister was going around calling it raveries and this. I don't know what happened to that. The moment the BJP started offering these freebies and all sorts of fiscally irresponsible schemes, the Supreme Court completely went silent on it. I don't know why they did, but certainly there needs to be a mechanism and check that enforces on political parties that only make promises that you can deliver. And this is not what we're seeing happen. And one thing I would like to correct what Sumit PhD had earlier said. Himachal Pradesh has a budgetary outlay of about 46,000 crores, and pensions account for pensions, all pensions, not just the increase because of the reintroduction of the old pension scheme. All pensions account for about 9,000 crore rupees. So I don't know where he's getting the figures of 1 lakh crores or 10 lakh crores or $100 billion. All
right. Sumi, let's hear it from you. What's your assessment of things? How can things become better when it comes to electoral politics?
You see, Megha ji, the point is very simple. Let me answer Nitin bhai first. Look, if I roll a scheme of, let's say, 1 lakh crores, which you talked about Maharashtra, my GDP is $510 billion, 2% of my GDP. I can do it. I can do it. That is sustainable. I roll the same scheme with a GDP of $26 billion. It is unpractical. Even if it is 10 lakh, even if it's the same amount rolled here, some amount rolled here. Now the calculations say that burden from new pension scheme to OPS was around 82% of state revenue. That is why you're not able to pay salaries. That is why you're saying I want to give salary cuts. That is why you're going to say this. If you have all the money in the world, why are you not giving the salaries? Why are you not paying the bills? Why are you not paying the cabinet secretaries? Why are you talking of cutting the expenses? Why Chief Minister says I don't say the salary? Then why does Kharge ji has to intervene and say, bhai, wo karo, what is sustainable? The challenge here is what is sustainable depends on you. Revenue receipts, and what is the percentage of that revenue receipt you are willing to use for the welfare of the people, even if it's not said a freebie and all. Look, if there's a Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana which is done, if there is a Ayushman Bharat which is done, as long as you have the money to substantiate it, it is okay. But you don't have the money, you want to subsidize you want to cancel all the development, you don't want to build a hospital, you don't want to build a road, you don't want to do anything, but you want to give free Bijli power, you want to give free bus rides. That is where the problem is. If the thing is for the collective good of the community and your budgets can sustain it, very welcome. That's public welfare. But for winning elections, knowing the state cannot sustain it, knowing you will go bankrupt, knowing you will finish this, still you want to go ahead and do it, that's what the problem is.
Okay. A point that Sujata wants to make, and then I'll come to you, Mukesh. Sujata, I have 30 seconds and I'll give the rest of the 30 to Mukesh.
Let
Sujata make a point. Mukesh, let Sujata make a point. Let her complete. I'll come to you. I'll give you time.
Yeah. Listen, it's very, very clear that everything has been centralized with the Prime Minister. So whatever schemes are coming out will come out only from the central government, because they have to come only from the Prime Minister and no state government. Oh my God. This is a federal structure and there should be a balance between the state government and the central government. Even for GST, we keep seeing various state governments crying because the central government doesn't release the funds. Why is it that when we talk about schemes of the state government, they are undermined, but the schemes of the central government, because they happen to be coming from the Prime Minister, only they will be considered to be great. I'm sorry, it is
I'm saying if the political parties, if the political parties were to work in cohesion and cooperation happen, well, there you will be getting funds from the central government. You will be putting in your funds from the exchequer, from the state exchequer, for the people to get the benefits. Instead of fighting against each other, you can cooperate. Mukesh, yes. Mukesh, you want to make a point? I have very little time. Mukesh, you want to make a point?
So everywhere the central and the state government can work together.
Sujata ji, I'm humbly asking you why D.K. Shivakumar wants to review the decision for the free travel by the ladies. Why is he dwelling upon that idea? If he has got the money,
if he said he wanted to review it, is there something wrong with the review? I'm sorry, any scheme should be reviewed time to time.
It shows that you have overpromised.
You mean to say, you have come from the corporate world, I remember you saying one, but you don't seem to understand that you need to assess, reassess and review various schemes.
You are biting more.
Okay.
Sujata, you are biting more than you can chew.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.